Hello. Today I'm going to spend a couple of minutes to briefly go over GDPR and specifically to discuss the importance of vetting any third parties who will handle personal data on behalf of you or your organization. First, let's quickly recap what GDPR is and why it's important. The General Data Protection Regulation governs how organizations are supposed to treat the personal data of EU residents. This regulation became effective in May of 2018. To comply with GDPR, organizations, broadly speaking, need to embed 6 privacy principles within their operations. These data privacy principles are: number 1, lawfulness, fairness, and transparency, meaning you should understand the law and legal grounds for processing personal data and remain transparent with data subjects regarding processing and their rights. This can be through things such as privacy statements posted on websites. Number 2, purpose limitations. You should only collect and process personal data to accomplish specified, explicit, and legitimate purposes, and not process personal data beyond the purpose. 3, data minimization. You should only process the personal data that is needed to achieve the processing purpose. Number 4, accuracy. You should take reasonable measures to ensure data is kept up to date. 5, storage limitations. You should delete personal data when it's no longer necessary. And 6, integrity and confidentiality. Personal data must be processed in a manner that ensures appropriate security of the personal data, including protection against unauthorized or unlawful processing and against accidental loss, destruction, or damage, using appropriate technical or organizational measures. Keeping these data privacy principles in mind, I now want to talk about a relatively recent security breach that occurred with a vendor that many of our Adventist institutions have or are currently still using, and why these data privacy principles are so important. Blackbaud is a cloud computing provider that serves over 25,000 nonprofits in addition to other organizations. It offers fundraising services through 2 products, Razor's Edge and eTapestry. In May of 2020, Blackbaud experienced a ransomware attack where a cyber criminal removed a copy of a subset of data, including customer data, from the Razor's Edge and eTapestry platforms. Blackbaud stated in its notification letter to its clients that no credit card, bank account, or Social Security number information was accessed, since this information was supposed to be housed in encrypted databases. In response to the ransomware attack, Blackbaud paid the criminals a ransom in exchange for credible confirmation that the stolen data was deleted. Blackbaud sent notifications of the breach on July 15th, 2 months after the event occurred. In their notice, they stated that they don't think the data went beyond the cybercriminal or was or will be misused. However, this assertion is based on assurances from the criminal that they destroyed the data. Since many of Blackbaud's clients use Razor's Edge, many nonprofits have been impacted by this breach. Like I said earlier, this includes a number of Adventist entities. We have discovered that the following information was compromised for some of our organizations: names, addresses, email addresses, donor history, and even things such as beliefs and prayer requests that people submitted. We also found that some organizations were placing bank account and credit card data in areas within Razor's Edge that were not designed to house that information. Because of this, that information was exposed because they were in unencrypted databases. So what can we learn from this incident? I have 5 lessons we can take away. First, all vendors need to be vetted before processing personal data, and we should include adequate contractual protections when we engage them for services. In this case, Blackbaud was a very well-known entity, but they were still subject to a breach. By vetting our third parties, we are doing the due diligence of making sure they have appropriate safeguards in place to protect our data. This is in compliance with privacy principle number 6. We should make sure that our contracts include all of the necessary terms to protect us when there's a breach, including making sure that our vendors carry the appropriate amount of insurance and that they will notify us in a timely manner if there is a breach and offer breach protection services when appropriate. Second, it is important to perform data entry cleanup. Security is a shared responsibility. We need to properly configure any third-party tools that we use. Just because a third party may be GDPR compliant, it is really dependent on us properly using the tools that they provide. We need to ensure that data is deleted from third-party databases when they are no longer providing services for us. This is in compliance with Data Privacy Principle 3 and 5 in dealing with data minimization and storage limitations. Third, it is important to implement data classification. We should know what data should be treated as sensitive and apply additional measures to secure it. Some of our institutions could have avoided having to send out breach notification letters if they had treated sensitive credit card information correctly in this instance, instead of putting that data in an unencrypted database. This is in compliance with Data Privacy Principle number 6. Fourth, every organization needs to have an incident response plan, including how information about a breach should be shared and who it should be shared with. And lastly, anyone handling personal data should have security awareness training to know how to avoid cyber attacks like this in the future. I'm sharing this information because this incident raised a number of best practices that all of us should be following when engaging with vendors who handle our data. Thank you.